Hi guys, it's Dinosaur Friend, and welcome to my first top 10 list. In this episode, we're going to look through my top 10 favorite Mario characters. Since the Mario series is one of the oldest video game franchises, there is no doubt that several outstanding individuals have left an impact on our gaming experience. From the colorful and ridiculous Mario RPGs to the wonderful platforming games, the Mario universe is never short on strange and endearing characters. Let's lay down some ground rules of what constitutes a Mario character. The character must play a role in a game where the word Mario is present in the title. This means no Super Smash Bros. Characters unless they meet the above criteria. Any cameo appearances in Mario games are also not allowed. Now keep in mind, this list is completely based on my own opinion, and if you have an opinion of your own, feel free to leave a comment or video response below. Now let's get this countdown started! I often find sidekicks of the main antagonists in stories more interesting than their main villain counterparts. In many Mario games, the side villain either serves as a comic relief character or as another entity of evil to support the main villain. Because of these diverse support roles, I often find myself either loving or hating the sidekick. I mean, it's already a given that I will be hating the main villain, but when it comes to their partner in crime, it's a toss-up. However, the character that occupies the number 10 position has been on both sides of my love-hate spectrum. My countdown begins with a side villain that emanates unrestricted evil, cunning deception, and rampant senility? Starting off at number 10, Kammy Koopa is one of my favorite supporting characters / minor villains in the entire franchise. She is introduced in the original Paper Mario as Bowser's right-hand woman, and has been described as the brains behind Bowser. In the original Paper Mario, she is cruel, cunning, and a bit vain, trademark traits of evil witches. During the entire game, she keeps track of Mario, making sure that his progress is halted by various means. Her craftiness and evil motives more often than not filled me with anger and fueled my utter hatred for her. Now what makes Kammy Koopa an incredible character is her return in the sequel, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. Her personality takes a complete 180 in the transition between the two games, from a cunning, evil witch to a bumbling, senile old hag. The contrast between the two portrayals provided many laughs throughout my first playthrough of The Thousand Year Door. Oh man, the words that would come out of this woman. Why, even at my age, I was shaking what my mama gave me. Wow, what? Ugh. Ah man, but however, since her stage presence in both games were disappointingly short, I can only place her at number 10. Being strange is sometimes seen as a negative trait, but sometimes it can be taken far enough that it has the opposite effect. When strange becomes endearing, at number 9, Professor Elvin Gadd is a strange character indeed. Debuting in Luigi's Mansion in 2001, he has become a recurring character in the Mario series as an inventor and a mad scientist. It's kinda strange that I put him on this list because I've actually never played the original Luigi's Mansion. However, I have played games where EGAD has had some sort of roles, such as Mario & Luigi's Superstar Saga, Partners in Time, and Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. What's also neat about this character is that many of his inventions are referenced in other games, such as Super Mario Sunshine's Flood, and various items in the Mario Party series. Even though he doesn't make an appearance in these games, the references are often quite fun to spot. His offbeat personality strangely reminds me of Professor Farnsworth from Futurama, who is, by the way, my favorite character from that series. Although he doesn't exhibit the same morbid tendencies Farnsworth has, EGAD still displays the same gung-ho attitude to test his ludicrous and often failed inventions. His role as a comic relief character has never failed to amuse me, and who can forget his awesome trademark gibberish? Unfortunately, his limited appearance in games as a support and side character only puts him at number 9. Ah, the hero. More often than not, admired in games due to their heroic acts of selflessness. Where would we be today without heroes like these as our definitive role models? Courage, self-righteousness, heroism, and gosh darn it, these adjectives are making me sick. Is there anyone that we can fill the number 8 position without these lame and boring characteristics? Wario. Do I have to say anything else about him? As a child, Wario Land 3 was probably my favorite game on the Game Boy Color, and I couldn't help but think how much cooler Wario was in comparison to Mario. Sporting invincibility, superhuman strength, and jumping abilities similar to Mario, I thought this guy was a badass. And he is. Wario is an obese, hot-tempered, and greedy man. Although many of these traits are seen as negative, he mostly takes on a role of an anti-hero in games rather than a villain. His motives are all driven by greed, whether it's to find lost treasure or win a tournament. His outlook as a hero or villain is more often than not determined by the payout. Having motives that detract from the heroic standard that Mario exemplifies is quite refreshing. Not only is Wario different than Mario in personality, Wario has abilities that would make his goody-goody counterpart jealous. Although he cannot jump as high as his red-clad counterpart, his super strength and array of interesting power-ups and signature attacks make him far more interesting to play as compared to Mario. From his vampire power-up to his trademark Wario Man guys, Wario always has some interesting gimmicks to bring to the table. Speaking of gimmicks, who can forget the crazy spin-off series that Wario has created? The WarioWare series has by far some of the funniest games I have ever played. Although WarioWare is pretty awesome, I would have loved to see more of Wario Land. Since there hasn't been that many Wario Land games lately, we don't get to see more of his awesome personality and in-your-face motives. Because of this, sad to say, I can only place him as high as number 8 on my list. As a child, I always wanted to be one of the cool kids in school. Unfortunately, I would never live up to it since I was too much of a nerd to fit in. Growing up at a time when video games were scarce, I had a hard time relating to other kids because that's all I talked about. So at number 7, let's talk about cool. Here we have the coolest characters on the list, the Koopa Brothers, a quartet of costume Ninja Koopa Troopas. Introduced in the original Paper Mario and an obvious spoof of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, who, by the way, are freakishly awesome, it was only natural to me to take an instant liking to their cocky charm. If there's any Mario enemy that has style and moxie, it's these guys. Now I know I'm bending the rules a little bit by putting 4 guys in one slot, but hey, it's my list and the 4 Koopas only really operate as a single entity. Their backstory is an interesting one, and it states that they were originally from the Koopa village. But after being bored for so long, they traveled to the nearby ruined fortress, befriended some Bob-ombs, and rebuilt said fortress. Yes, these 4 Koopas pretty much built an entire army because they were bored. If that's not being awesome, I don't know what is. Upon seeing this, Bowser and Kammy Koopa started taking a liking to the Bros, and the Bros decided to join up with the forces of evil by guarding the first Star Spirit Bowser had captured. Now, as cool as their backstory is, you can't deny that they sport some of the most fantastic battle music in the entire game. Here, take a listen. The boss battle was quite amazing as well. With signature poses, signature moves, and gimmicky attacks, these guys left an impression on me as one of the flashiest boss battles ever. Although they make a second appearance in the game in the last chapter, claiming to have gotten stronger, they were unfortunately swatted away by Junior Troopa. I have to say I was extremely disappointed when I saw this happen, since the Koopa Bros were easily my favorite boss in Paper Mario. As cool as they were as the first real boss in the game, their short stage presence and disappointing second encounter can only place them at number 7. Many people often think of the Mario franchise to be filled with fun and colorful characters, but sometimes when we look past the cheery exterior, we can find some darker themes such as death and depression. While there are only a few characters that come to mind, one in particular stands out after being tormented by a tragic loss in his life. Admiral Bobbery makes an appearance as one of my top characters. Out of all 7 partners in Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, Bobbery is by far the most interesting character. He is a renowned sailor of the seas and spent most of his life traveling the oceans. He later became infatuated with the Bob-omb of his dreams, Scarlet, and fell deeply in love with her. Unfortunately, during a cold and icy winter, Scarlet fell ill while Bobbery was out at sea. When Bobbery returned, he finds out that Scarlett had succumbed to her illness, and Bobbery fell into a deep depression from guilt. As you can see already, for a Mario character, Bobbery has already more dimensions than almost anyone in the franchise. Depression, death, these are darker themes almost never shown in Mario games. Even though Bobbery has a dark background, his introduction boasts one of the most memorable moments in the game. During the crash landing on Keelhaul Key, Bobbery and a few others are attacked by pirate ghosts, and Bobbery makes a heroic last stand against the attackers in order to let the others escape. After the battle, he states that he is near death, and presumably dies shortly after. Until you catch him snoring. I remember when I first witnessed this scene, I was touched and saddened, only to be tricked by the old C-bomb. But personally, I loved how the story contrasted his haunting background with this bit of humor. Giving the Admiral a good wake-up whack, he gladly joins the team. Now as a partner, Bobbery is beastly, boasting 10 more hit points than other members and abilities that allow him to attack all enemies on the field with great damage. Bobbery is one of the best partners in the game. He can take quite a bit of damage as well as sending it back. This makes him useful in almost all situations, such as the Pit of 100 Trials, dealing with numerous enemies, and boss battles. And hey, he looks pretty awesome too, doesn't he? As awesome as Bobbery is, it would have been nice to see him in more games, but unfortunately he only plays a significant role in Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. As a result, I can't place him any higher than number 6.